Hey everyone, James from TeaDB here, bringing you a very atypical Inbetweenisode. So going today to be talking about a special ripe contest called Shumageddon. And probably most of you have never heard of this, but shout out to the T Discord. If you're interested, I can send you the link. And it's basically a tea community over there, and one of the people over there, SteamedMilk, who is responsible for the Denisodes video that I released a few weeks ago, had a contest where he basically blind tasted through the entire 2020 Yunnan sourcing and W2T ripe, aka Shu line. So that's what they did, and he kind of did a sort of March Madness style bracket where he's judging the teas off of 5 steeps. I think it was side by side, if my understanding is correct. And I do not know the results of this contest, so we have both a tea winner, and I have teas F and O in front of me, and a winner of the actual contest, so the person that guessed the most, the correct entrance. And I don't know the exact scoring system, but I do have that winner here, and I also have the results right here. So hopefully you couldn't see the name on that, but I will announce that very shortly in this episode. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to blind taste both of these teas. I guess in honor of SteamedMilk and just the format he did, I will go through 5 steeps as well. So I actually don't know if I'm going to do all 5 steeps on camera. I'm going to do the first few, at least, on camera. So here is steep number 1. So we have TF over here and TO in identical gaiwans. I'm using about 5 grams for 75 milliliters. And let's take a quick smell. Nice, rich, fairly fruity for a ripe aroma there. Maybe a little bit of cherry sweetness that Denny really likes. Also a very vibrant aroma. Both of these are very aromatic teas. The compression of F, and you know, this can always just be what part of the cake you got, but it came apart much more easily, whereas O, I was either doing what the Bing hole or just much tighter compression. I brought out some new chais for this so we can see the color more clearly. Clearly F is brewing a little bit darker. Maybe could be due to the fermentation. We had to kind of wait for those wet leaves to come out and see. And, you know, I haven't tasted a ton of the ripe lines of either of the teas, nor do I know all the teas. So I'm not really going to be guessing. I'm just going to let you know what I think of these teas, and we'll see what they actually are. If I were to guess right now, based off the compression, I suspect O is definitely going to be a W2T tea, just because it is pretty heavily compressed compared to what I've seen from Yunnan sourcing. Could be a Bing hole too, so that kind of is a confounding factor. Cheers. Really rich texture, nice, creamy. Has some of that bitterness to it as well. Interesting. So my guess is that this F is either one of the Yunnan sourcing teas with some Lao Man in it, or it is a W2T ripe with some bitter material in it as well. Both quite possible. I'm not sure. Again, I haven't studied the line, so I think W2T had something in their line that sort of had that profile. I haven't had that tea, and I know Yunnan sourcing at least produces the Lao Man. So I guess to test if it's the Lao Man or something like the Bawang with maybe a hint of material mixed in, we'd have to really test it and see how persistent that sort of bitterness is. Cheers. Thicker, very textural experience. Yeah, really nice, actually. Liking both of these teas. So far for me, O is the winner. So even though I think it has probably a little less outward flavors going on, I like the thickness and the texture of it. To me, it just feels like a more substantive tea so far. So round 1 going to O. Let us do number 2. This, I don't recommend drinking this fast at home. It's probably not quite as enjoyable drinking this fast at home, but you know, we're filming an episode. You don't want to see me just staring at my Gaiwan for 20 minutes, waiting for stuff to go. So here we go. All right. So yeah, I mean, one of the tricky parts of this is just trying to get equal brews that are equivalent and not to judge them too harshly, just because the compression on both of these is different. If I were to guess right now, I would guess these are probably both white tea. This one is more likely to be Yunnan sourcing, I'd say. Possibly one of the more bitter ones. Interestingly, smell-wise, I didn't pick up on that, whereas the Laomena ripe, when I had it with Denny, definitely you can smell that sort of just, I don't know, pungency to the material. It would not surprise me if O is the nameless one. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know now. That smell is a lot more typical of ripe, less of that like really richness. Okay, cheers. So really dark color from this. I don't think this is straight Laomena, but who knows? I could be wrong. Cheers. Pretty similar to the first brew. It definitely has that like sharp bitterness undercurrent going on with it. Nice creaminess. I like it overall though. So not sure what this is, but definitely that note is pretty prominent and probably sort of the defining characteristic, I would say, for F. Yeah. And here we go. Oh. Cheers. Definitely more of a refined texture, definitely sweet. Next time I think I'm probably going to go in reverse order, so go from this tea to this tea, because usually what will happen is the contrast between the two are really going to stand out. So I don't know necessarily, this smelled very vibrant to me, which made me wonder if like something like the nameless one or something with a little bit lighter fermentation, but it's not having a lot of those greener notes just because it's very sweet compared to this tea. And that's just because this tea is very defined by that kind of like that strain of bitterness. And by strain of bitterness, I mean as far as ripes go. I don't mean in sort of an overall context. So just sort of, you don't expect to have that sort of sharpness in ripes. Yeah, gonna give this round to T-O as well. And that's probably just my preferences. I like that strain of bitterness when it's not overpowering. I don't think it's too overpowering here, but this tea for me has a lot more, I don't know, it just has a more interesting texture especially. I think the body's a little bit better too, whereas this has more surface level strength and just sort of that front bitterness. Alright, so this will probably be the last one I do on camera, just because you probably don't want to see me go on and on tasting these teas. So going in reverse order here, so T-O. And again, each steep T-O has brewed a lighter color. Hard to say if that is just due to the pieces I got that were left over from the sample, or because the overall compression of the cake is lighter. Or denser, I should say. Yeah. Another thing that really makes me think that TF is Lao Man material rather than being lighter fermented is the leaves are actually very, very dark. They're basically black here. So, and that usually indicates that the fermentation level is certainly not a light fermented ripe tea, which means it's getting that strength from something else. And I think in this case, it's probably that sort of material. All right. So, I guess smells of both. Rich. Pretty confident this is white tea. Well, I want to take those words back immediately when I say it. And this one really could be either. Cheers. Yeah, just a really complex tea, nice texture, some interesting notes, some fruitier notes, as well as just like a lot of creaminess as well. Of course, it still has that sort of base of woodiness that you expect from a ripe tea. Yeah, really nice. Okay, TF. Cheers. Interesting. This tea is this steep is just a little bit less of that strength there, of that bitterness. So I think it's pretty well balanced. I do like both of these teas, I think. I think they're both good, engaging ripes. Probably, I'm guessing both are sort of on the higher end of the spectrum as far as these vendors go. Yeah, nice creaminess, nice richness to this. Gonna have to give this one again to TO. I just think it's the more interesting tea for me. It'll probably win all 5 rounds, but I will be recording rounds 4 and 5. I will be doing rounds 4 and 5 off of camera. And then I will be back and I will reveal the winner of the contest as well as the tea winner and what SteamedMilk preferred of these 2 teas. Okay, so I just finished steepness number 4 and 5 between these 2 teas, and honestly, the teas actually got a little bit closer, a little bit more difficult to decide, probably about draw on those 2. But I'll give one to O and one to F. There's something with F where it's just a very sturdy, it feels more similar, steep in, steep out, versus O, it's a little more complex, but, you know, if you like the profile of F, I think it's a pretty solid one. So I think these are both pretty good. So first things first, going to shout out the winner. So SteamedMilk sent me this piece of paper, shows the winner. So shout outs to Vec for winning. It sounds like he edged it out by 1 point, so shout out to Vec. Congratulations for being the champion of Shumageddon. And there were 3 people tied for second place. There was one person who managed to pick the winning tea, so wanted to shout them out as well. So that person is T Ha. So T Ha won second place. And here are the results. So let's see who won. As you can see, I have not opened this, so I'm going to use my letter opener. Get in here and let's see the winners and who they are. So O was the nameless one. So actually, my guess was kind of right. I thought it was a lighter fermented one, probably from white tea. And F is Yunnan Sourcing Peerless Bronze, which is a tea I actually had too. So I've actually had both of these teas, and they both actually had Inbetweenisodes, which he also mentions here. Interesting. I don't know that I could have picked out F. I think this session here was probably better than the one that I had on the episode. I remember being like satisfied with the tea, but I don't know that it really like stood out hugely. So yeah, so shout out to both Scott and W2T, Two Dog, for their teas. It sounds like it was both of them had teas in the finals. And shout out to SteamedMilk as well. So thank you for the fun episode. Fun to do sort of a blind tasting between these two. I thought it would probably be one that I didn't know, but I was familiar enough. I guess the teas that I chose to bring on the episodes happened to be the ones that won too. So thank you, everyone. Let me know how you enjoyed this episode. Definitely a little bit of an atypical TeaDB episode, and I will see you all next time.